I'm Frank Sepe, NPC News Online Editor-in-Chief, and I am here with the one and only Sadik Hadzovic, and he has a special announcement for all you NPC fans out there and IFBB competitors. What do you got for us today?
Well, I don't know if it's a secret by now, so everybody in the gym has been looking at me and they're like, man, you got huge. So what I'm going to do is there's a new Classic Physique Division.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I've been competing in men's physique for actually my entire career, 4 years. Mm-hmm. And I feel like this is a brand new division, which is creating a lot of excitement. And it's a division I believe in, so instead of sucking down and competing at 185 pounds, I'd rather go up in weight, and I think it's a great opportunity for me and for the sport.
Now, if you look at all the men's physique competitors in the IFBB, you're probably the most popular one. You're the most established. You did well at the Arnold this year. You won the Arnold. You came in second at the Olympia, right? You have a lot of momentum going for you when you go into these shows. Like I said, tons of fans. Why would you make the change to Classic Physique?
Well, that's a good question. Everyone's asked me. They said, Sadik, don't give up. Yeah. But I don't look at it as giving up. I look at it as a new challenge.
Right.
And there's only so much I could do in men's physique. I bring in an incredible package. I've done 12 pro shows. I placed top 3 in all my shows. And for me to continue going to men's physique, I think I'm doing myself an injustice, just in terms of what I'm capable of. So I want to challenge myself, jump in deeper waters, and really test my mettle. And I'm not expecting to, obviously go on every show to win, but I know this is going to be difficult to break the top 5 in Classic Physique, but I'm going to give it my all, and I'm going to try my best.
Now, if you ever looked on your Instagram account a couple of weeks out from any men's physique show you did, you're huge. Did you have problems making the cut, like getting down for the men's physique? Did you have to lose too much muscle?
Absolutely, yeah. Every year I've been getting progressively bigger and bigger. Mm-hmm. So I walk around at about 220 pounds.
Right.
So I have to make a tremendous cut. So that's over 30 pounds I have to cut.
Wow.
I just weighed in at 187 on the Mr. Olympia stage. So it's a tremendous cut. And, I think my body wants to grow, So I think it's every year my muscle's maturing. I'm still 28 years old, so I'm growing.
Right. So now, with the criteria of the Classic Physique, how much will you be weighing now in the way the standards are set now? What will you be weighing on stage?
Well, for my height class, I have to weigh 205 pounds on stage. So I have to gain, coming from September, I was 187 on stage. So
wow.
I have to gain over 15 pounds.
What are you right now?
I am
over
right
that.
Now, I think right now we call that word huge.
Huge, yeah.
I'm 230 pounds today.
Now, are you working with a specific coach? I know you were working with Frank Zane a little bit, right? To get ready for this new division. Mm-hmm. So who you work with?
Well, yeah, I've been working with Frank Zane. Frank and I have become friends, which is really, it's amazing for me to say that. Somebody I respect the most. And I think, I have appreciation for the open bodybuilders, of today, They're touching, 250 to 300 pounds. I respect that, but I've always gravitated towards a physique like Frank Zane. Somebody that's 200 pounds, ripped.
Beautiful aesthetics, yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't have to be the biggest guy. He was the smallest guy to ever win the Mr. Olympia. And there's something to be said for that. And my whole life I've been compared to him. Mm-hmm. Even before I knew who the guy was. I'm like, who's Frank? Like Frank, what, does he train
Frank
here?
Sepe?
Yeah, Frank Sepe, pretty much. I thought the guy trained here,
Right.
And little do you know, I got more involved in bodybuilding, started reading magazines, going to websites, and I see he's 3-time Mr. Olympia. Mm-hmm. So it's a great honor. So yeah, I'm still working with Kenny Wallach, and for my posing, and I don't think I'm going to be the biggest guy on stage, but I can guarantee I'll pose the biggest. Mm-hmm. Kenny's a master of what he does. I've been working with him, in men's physique poses, and we always laughed. We always laughed at the fact that, Sadik, let's show your legs.
Right.
Let's hit a front double bicep. So sometimes we mess around in the posing room. We do it for fun, but now it's going to become, reality. So happy about that.
What are some of the things when Frank Zane evaluated? What are some of the things that he told you that you needed to do to make that jump?
Yeah, well, the one thing he told me he needed to do, he looked at my legs and he's like, "You got huge legs, but you're stopping at 10 reps." I'm like, how does this guy know? How does he know I'm stopping at 10 reps?
Yeah.
So he, he encouraged me to bring out more lines in my quads. 20 reps. So everything on legs, now I'm increasing my rep range. But besides that, he actually said I have a lot of attributes that he wished he would have had.
Right.
And he said as long as I don't get injured, then I can have the best physique of all time. And for somebody like that to say that to me is it's a big feather in my cap, you know.
Well, aesthetically, you have very small waist, wide shoulders, and you're perfect for the new division. But a lot of people are going to say, well, are you, backing out of the men's physique now? If you would have stayed, would you ever beat Jeremy Buendia? And, my response, if I were you, obviously going to let you respond, is that it's so close between every competitor on that stage. Everyone is so good that the degree between first place and fifth place is so tight that you can't even make that assessment, So what do you say to people that say, well, are you jumping out of the men's physique because, you're afraid or you don't want to compete against there, or you have sour grapes to the IFBB at all?
No sour grapes. I mean, like I said in the beginning of the interview, I've been sucking myself down for so long, and I'm constantly chasing what the judges want. And, Jeremy Buendia is the champ.
Right.
Mark Anthony's the champ. Jeremy's the champ. I'm the Arnold Classic champ, but I'm not the Olympia champ, and, I have enough titles in men's physique where I can walk away and be happy with what I've accomplished, and regardless if I win or lose, like you said, I'm still the fan favorite.
Absolutely,
I still reach more people. A lot more people, they know my name, and there's a reason for it. And the reason is that I've always had integrity with myself and what I want to look like. And, I think I'm one of the guys that is responsible for making men's physique, quote unquote, cool. And when everybody else was coming in at 170, I would come in at 190 pounds. I kept on pushing the bracket, pushing it. But now, since they want to lower men's physique's weight classes, not necessarily the weight classes, but the look. They want to bring in a smaller look this year. I'm just not willing to do that. I feel like I would have more potential, gaining size rather than losing.
There's always backlash when you're first at anything. And we were just talking about that. What'd you say before?
Yeah, so it's actually 3 years ago, Frank Sepe, he texted me before the first ever Miss Olympia. And I was feeling a little down on myself. I was depleted. And he goes, it's very rare in life that anybody gets to say that they're the first ever at something.
Right.
Especially be a first ever at the Physique Olympia. And those words, they hit home with me, and that's how I'm looking at this new challenge,
And I look at it too, that you just said you made men's physique cool. I think because you're jumping into the classic physique, that a lot of people will say, wow, if he's doing it, he's on top, he's one of the most popular, if not the most popular men's physique, then I could do it too. I think, you're pretty much going to be like the Pied Piper of the, classic physique, that people will follow you. And a lot of your fans, because you have a ton of fans in the NPC, will say, oh, you know what? I was going to do men's physique, but, I like training. I like putting a little bit more size on.
Yeah.
I'm going to follow him too because, I want to be like him. Because honestly, the IFBB pros are what NPC competitors want to be. They look up to you guys. And so I think it's fantastic that you're, jumping ship. And for the people that say, well, he couldn't win in men's physique, you have a ton of titles. You're top 2 in the world at the Olympia, number 1 at the Arnold stage. So why not? I mean, you have to deplete a couple of, I see in the gym here a couple of weeks before the show, and you actually do look like a body, more like a bodybuilder, and you have to suck down so much. So I know a lot of people who are excited. A lot of pros are jumping into the new classic physique division. But the most important thing now, Sadik, is what music will you use? Will there be music?
Yeah.
Now you got to put a posing routine together.
Yeah. How cool is that? How cool is that? So now we have to.
Will you rap and make your own video?
We could do anything. I was thinking maybe like something like Kelly Clarkson or something, or I don't even know, Miley Cyrus. But
Floyd Mayweather had Justin Bieber walk him to the ring. Are you going to have someone singing in the corner on the stage?
Actually,
you got to do it big.
Idea. Not a bad idea. I might get raised from the ceiling of the platform, with a whole bunch of fog and smoke. But that's a great thing you just mentioned in terms of we get the pose now.
Yeah.
We get the pose. We get to hit almost all the poses the bodybuilders hit, with the exception of a few.
Right.
I think most muscular and something else. But that's really, for me, men's physique never existed.
Yeah.
I was always, I want to be a bodybuilder. I want to be Ronnie Coleman. I want to be, Kevin Levrone. And, those guys were my idols, and they would hit poses, even when I'm not, on the men's physique stage, I'm hitting front double biceps and, lat spreads. And if you look at my Instagram,
everyone's hitting double bicep
that's
shots.
What we're doing because it's fun, know. So why not? Why not?
It's true.
So.
How does GAT, your sponsor, feel about you making a jump to the Classic Physique?
Well, they're great. They've been very helpful.
Yeah.
They help me, any kind of product I need. Sadiq, what do you need? How could we help? So they actually made a mass gainer. I've been beta testing it. It's called Radical Mass. So,
Perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect timing,
man.
yeah.
I got to gain 15 pounds. So I'm like, there's only so much food you could chew, my teeth. So they've been very supportive in terms of, any kind of product I need, formulation. They're very courteous to my training and travel schedule. So, to them, my goal is their goal.
Yeah.
My goal is to be Mr. Olympia. So is their goal,
Well, if you look back at some of the videos, forget you were training with Big Ramy, who's obviously one of the biggest bodybuilders in the world. What did you get from training with him?
Man, Big Ramy, man. First of all, that guy's the nicest gentleman I've ever met. Bodybuilder or normal person, nicest guy ever. But what kind of training tips? Well, I see the way he trains. Believe it or not, he trains for about 25 minutes,
Oh, wow.
And he
You're
will
a
do
volume
4
trainer,
extra.
right?
Yeah, I'm a volume trainer. But I'm a volume trainer because I always had to go catabolic, and lose muscle to compete in men's physique due to the judging criteria. But now I'm going to adopt some of the same qualities he does when he trains, which is, 25 minutes, 45 minutes, and go home and recover. Rather than being in the gym for 2 or 3 hours where I'm trying to get smaller. Now I can actually get bigger. So there's a lot of things, a lot of time under tension movements he uses, and I learned a lot from that guy.
Sounds like you'll be posting your max lift soon. Now you put a little bit more size on.
Yeah. It'll be more impressive, man. Definitely. It'll be fun to watch me, progress throughout the year. And, maybe I'll even do some guest posing, across the country, to build some hype,
That's
and
actually
and
another entity that you'll now be at guest posing at these events. Yeah, that'll be great.
Me and Kenny Wallach spoke about it. He said, the last thing I want you to do is to go on stage with a perfect physique, but you don't have experience posing and holding those poses.
Right.
So we're thinking of a few angles, maybe guest posing, maybe doing a few warm-up shows. And this way I could, really leave no stone unturned on the Mr. Olympia stage.
It's a little tough when you're a bodybuilder, you're off season. People come to see you because you're huge, you're a freak. You're like, wow, this guy's amazing. For you, they're coming to see you. You're in shape, you're lying, so you have to be pretty much a week, 2-3 weeks out every time you guest pose to just like kind of show the criteria of the sport and stuff, because most people are looking at you because they want to see those aesthetic lines and stuff. So it's actually going to be tougher for you. You have to stay in shape for a longer period of time.
Yeah. I've actually done one guest posing routine in Kuwait.
Did you really?
And I was totally out of shape. And they loved it, and I loved it. It's just so much fun, man. It's just people respect,
That's a good thing about social media. You put stuff up, and I know you put a lot of positive messages out there, and people are like, when they're just happy to see you, happy to talk to you, and that you're down to earth, and that you give them the time of day to I have a nutrition question, I have a training question. That's what it's about. It's about motivating people. It's about inspiring people to get to the next level. It's not about having the best physique in the gym that day or whatever. If you guy can come in, you can come here with veined out and walk past somebody, and they'll always remember that. You can come in 15 weeks out, sit down with somebody, give them 20 minutes of your time, and it'll last them a lifetime.
Yeah, just a good quote. Nobody remembers what you do or say. They remember how you make them feel. And there's plenty of bodybuilders that I looked up to in the magazines, and I met them in person, and I was let down. I was like, wow, man, I kind of wish I didn't meet this guy. Had him up here, but he wasn't really who he represented on the internet. But that's one thing that I'm glad that I never heard that from anybody saying that I wasn't who I appeared to be.
Yeah.
So the same guy on the internet is the same guy that you'll see at the shows.
Let's talk about the IFBB right now. You started in NPC. You started in the NPC, the men's physique, and turned pro pretty quickly. Went to the IFBB, became a rock star in the IFBB. And now you got the Classic Physique Division. A lot of people and a lot of things out on social media were talking about evolution of organizations and sport and the whole deal. I don't think there's one physique organization that has evolved as much as the NPC and the IFBB. You look at how the NPC, when I was competing, there were 60, 70 people in a show. And now at some of these national shows, you have 1,300. So I would expect that the Classic Physique Division is going to be packed. I just have that feeling that a lot of people like yourself are going to want to pose, and we've gotten a lot of emails and response from IFBB pros who are going to make the jump. So it'll be interesting to see on the IFBB level, how because pretty much the pros will dictate how everything goes in the amateurs, because I said people want to look at them and say, oh, you know, I want to look like that guy. But as far as we were talking about judging, the NPC is going to be a little bit more difficult the first year out to kind of pinpoint that criteria, because you can only judge who's in front of you. So if you have 6 guys who are overly muscular in that class, you have to judge those 6 guys. If, you know, a show in New York, there's 6 guys in the men's physique who decided to go to Classic and they have the same men's physique shape and size, you have to judge those people. So when you look at pictures of 300 shows, it's going to be a little bit, you know, crazy. It took a while to get that men's physique criteria down for the men, you know, for the NPC, because you remember when you first started competing until the other, like you said, you came in at 190, they were coming in at 170 pounds. So it'll be interesting. So what are you, when you step on stage, what are you going to be as far as, in your vision, are you going to be 205 pounds right now, right? As far as the criteria is set right now. What kind of a package are you going to bring to the stage? Are you going to be coming in, focusing more on size, but are you going to come in or really come in shredded as possible, or a combination of the both? Because, you know, it's people want to know.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting question. So,
because once you put your plan together, it's, you know, that's going to dictate what you're going to look like.
Like we said, I had to gain 15 pounds, but I'd rather gain 10 pounds and be conditioned and have really good posing, and rather than force myself to get to 205 and sacrifice conditioning. So I believe that if I come in anywhere between 200 and 205, I could pose myself to make myself look bigger if need be. You know, if I'm competing against guys at 205 and, you know, they look way bigger than me, you know, I can manipulate my posing, or I could just rely on my conditioning. You know, it's not about, this is classic physique. This is about lines and shape and symmetry and posing. This is not about who's the most. We already have a bodybuilding division. We have 2 of them. We have 212 and open bodybuilding. You know, this is not a bodybuilding division.
Right.
You know, I don't need to come in looking peeled, dried to the bone. But that's what the fans like, so I probably will come in that way. You know, so I mean, I think that's why I'm the most popular guy. I like to push the envelope, but I never sacrifice, you know, shape. You know, if there's one thing that could be said about me, is always I came in with good lines and good shape. You know, and I never came in not conditioned. So that's one thing, you know. But I will be fuller than I was in men's physique. You know, in men's physique I was depleted. I always competed depleted and flat. So now I'm able to actually, you know, feed my body and really. You know, this will be the first accurate, like, representation of Sadik that there will be, you know, and it'll be in classic physique. That's when you'll really see what I'm capable of.
It's, you know, it's normal. People hear, I can gain weight. Wow. So they'll come in bloated. You know, it's obviously, that's not what it's about. It's about coming in with the total package. So I was just curious what your plan was for the stage.
Well, I will not be coming in with a gut, you know, so if anybody's looking for a gut, there will be no guts in this division.
You heard it here first. No gut on stage.
You know, so I won't be coming in like that, you know, and I'm going to bring the physique that I best, you know, that I aspire to be. You know, I think everybody who starts lifting weights, they have an image of what they want to look like, you know, as a teenager, as a boy, you know, and I've never had an image of myself being ripped to the bone at 180. I always want to be ripped to the bone at like 230 pounds, you know, so the old analogy that bigger is better. Yeah, you know, it's just the man inside of me, you know, and I want to grow and I want to have abs at 205 pounds, you know, rather than, you know, 180. So
sounds to me 3 years from now, you might be in the open.
Hey, you know, if it just keeps progressing like this, I know the paychecks are bigger than the open. So
did you hear that, Phil Heath? When you're going for your 8th Olympia, you're going to have to deal with him.
You, bro.
Well, it's always good to talk to you. You know, you're definitely, you know, one of my favorite people in the sport. Is there anyone you want to thank? Obviously, GAT.
Yeah, I want to thank GAT. I want to thank my sponsors, Dark Sport, Body Engineering, Rider Wear. I mean, the list goes on and on.
You might want to mention them just in case.
You know, I know I'm going to forget a few people. But, yeah, I want to thank all my sponsors, you know, people that believe in me, people like you know, that take time out. You know, even when I was amateur, you would text me and make sure, you know, ask me how I was feeling. I want to thank Jim Mannion, J.M. Mannion, for creating this great division. They created a great division for me. It was called Men's Physique. But now there's a greater division. It's called Classic Physique, and I want to thank them for that. And, you know, all the fans, you know, and Steve Weinberger for this great facility that I train at. And that's it, guys.
And if any of your men's physique competitors out there wanted to get a piece of Sadik. Now you got to go into Classic Physique to get him. So
Yeah. Yeah.
follow his lead. So thanks again, Sadik. This is Frank Sepe for NPC News Online.